is going down, my YouTube family? It is your boy Zary from Zary's Mobile Gaming here. Very excited tonight. I made myself some tea. I don't want to have coffee this late, but what we're going to be talking about in this video is we are going to talk about the 3 new characters that are coming into the game with the update. We have Hilda, the panda tank. We have Faeila, the damage dealing elf. And then we have Yogi, the pride mage character. So what we got going on with them, we're going to go over them. This is kind of like a impromptu noob series. We're going to break down their kits. We're going to look at possible synergies based off what they got. And then we're going to talk about runes, how we're going to rune them. We're going to look at their stats as well, kind of see where they fall in with the rest of the characters that are already out. I'm not going to run like team compositions yet. I will be making videos based on your guys' feedback with synergies and see how they all run together. Before we get into the first character, I just wanted to thank you all so very much for making this possible, having access to this test account, being able to provide you all with the information is just a blessing to me. If you didn't see it yesterday, I was on Dragon Law Gaming's channel, and we kind of had like a podcast discussion about the state of the game and what we think about stuff. Absolutely great guy. Just, again, just super blessed for him to want to bring me on to his channel. So that was really cool. If you haven't seen it, description popping up now. Click on it. If you're not a sub to him, be a sub to him. He's got a lot of good stuff. He's doing a lot of cool collaborations with other Dragon Champion content creators, and you should support them. You should subscribe to them, because you know what? Everybody's got a different take, and you might learn something. I learn a lot from these guys, so everybody out there can too. Also, if you aren't a subscriber, click that subscribe button. Join my family. We are so ever close to 250 subscribers. And subscribe, write a comment, and it enters you into my giveaway for a $20 Google Play, $20 iTunes gift card, whatever you run. I'll send it to you guys. Just a way for me to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. I so wish it could be more, but I just wanted to do that to thank you all for making this a dream come true for me. So without further ado, let's get to the first character. Okay, this is Hilda. She is an order, panda, defender, and a traveler. She is very cool looking. The detail on her little spear here matches the detail on her shield. Now, I can't show a picture because I'm sure it's copyrighted and I don't want to get demonetized or whatever they call it. I don't want to get the strike against me. But for all you fans of Labyrinth out there, I'm a huge fan of Labyrinth. I've showed it to all my kids. The door knockers in the maze, they look exactly like that. I just think that's a really cool touch. Kind of brought me back to my childhood there, so that was cool. But she is a very kind of Valkyrie-looking panda with a little thong showing. So that's pretty interesting. And my neighbors are talking ungodly loud right now, so we will wait for them to be done. Sorry about that. Okay, looking at Hilda's stats. Her physical damage to start is at 2873. Magic damage at 731. Critical chance at 2287. Her health is at 30,053. Physical armor is at 29.38. And her magic armor is at 35.66. Shield is at 20,000, 21.2. Her speed is at 122. That is an extremely high base speed for a tank. Now remember, we want to keep them like 125, 130. That's where I have the best luck with my tanks. We're not going to put any speed on her other than what comes in secondaries. Hopefully we can get maybe like between 4 and 7 speed. But we don't have to focus speed on her. Usually we have to waste a rune on a tank to put in the northeastern rune there to put on the speed. We don't have to with her. She has a 27% tenacity and a 0% lifesteal, which is very typical for a tank. So let's check out her moves. So before we get into her moves, one of my favorite parts about a new character is I love to see their animations, just how they perform. So what I did before I made this video is I went through and I shot the abilities. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the description, talk about it for a minute, then there'll be a nice little cut with a transition, and we will check out the ability so you can see for yourself. I put it in 1x speed. Just wanted to do that because that is my favorite part of a new character, looking at their model and looking at their animations. So let's get into it. Defender Strike. It deals 210% of physical damage, gains a shield equal to 50% of the damage dealt. This is an interesting mechanic, and I like it quite a bit. In this game, a lot of moves are very heavily reliant on either physical damage and magical damage. This move on her basic ability is restoring her shield, just increasing the survivability of a tank, so I like that quite a bit. So let's check out what the move looks like, and then we'll be ready for the second one. The second move is Spear Throw. It deals 340% of physical damage to an enemy, and then Hilda gains armor increase and tenacity increase for 2 turns. Again, super cool. She's dealing 340% of her physical damage. For a tank, it's not crazy. You're not going to be putting up 20,000 damage, but giving herself an armor increase and a tenacity increase for 2 turns, guaranteed, is big. So that means we can focus less on armor and tenacity as part of her survivability and her moveset. So that's pretty neat. So let's check out the move, see what you think. Alright, Battle Song is her third ability. This is her taunting mechanism. Now you know me with taunting mechanisms. I want them to do something else. I just don't want them to throw up a taunt and that's it. So this is kind of cool. So she gains taunt for 2 turns and then reduces all enemies' turn gauges by 5%. That's pretty neat. And then this part, I don't know how it's going to work. Very interesting. If Snorri is one of her allies, both of you gain a damage increase for 2 turns. So we know on her basic, the damage replenishes her shield. She could fit very well into a Soleus team now based off of this. So that's interesting to play around with. So we'll keep that in mind as we start testing her. But check out Battle Song. Let me know what you think. And then her passive ability is Shield Maiden. This move increases Hilda's max shield size by 15,000. Super cool. Just ramping up her survivability big time. Big time. So there's Hilda's move kits. We know she restores her own shield based off of damage. We also know she is a tank and she needs survivability. She's giving herself armor and tenacity. And she also has one of the highest base speeds for a tank in the game. So what we're going to focus on is I think we're going to actually put a damage set on her, because that could only increase her survivability, because she'll be replenishing her shield on her basic, which she's going to use more often. And then I'm just going to put a health set for the secondary, or for the second rune set, to kind of cap off the amulet. So I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. We'll find some good ones, hopefully, and then we will go over her stats. We have a full rune amulet, 2 health, 4 damage. Let's go over the runes. Let's see what we got. I went, obviously, primary. And on the secondary stats, I want to tell you this. I wanted damage and then just straight up survivability, possibly shield, because that's just going to add on top of her 15,000 she gets. So I just pretty much went survivability, damage. And if she got a speed sprinkled in there, that was a bonus, because we were trying to get between like 4 and 8, 4 and 7 speed on her to get her to that 125 range. So in the Northern Rune, we have the damage primary, armor, shield, health, and shield. Very good rune for her. I went with the damage primary in the Northeastern. I got a 2 speed, got some shield, got some health, and then I got some more damage. In the Southeastern rune, we have the armor, shield, health, potency, which I don't need, but it's a very good tank rune for her, and tenacity. Then in the Southern rune, I put a damage primary, got another damage to proc, got 2 armors and a tenacity. Very happy with that. Then we have in the Southwestern rune, we have the shield, damage, speed, damage, and shield. Again, very happy with that. And then we went with shield, health, armor, and shield. I was going to go damage here, but all of the secondaries that procced was a lot of potency and just garbage that I didn't want. So this was made for a tank. Let's increase her survivability. Let's go with it. So let's see what it did to her stats. Okay, her stats. We brought up her physical damage by 714. So her physical damage is at 3587. Brought up her magic damage by 222. Critical chance we didn't put any on, and that's fine. It is by damage dealt, but I'd rather have the health for the survivability on the tank than trying to up her critical chance by 6 or 8%, whatever it is. Her health we brought up by 3824, bringing it to 33,877. Physical armor we brought up 2.2%. Her magic armor we brought up 2.65%. Her shield we brought up by almost 6,000, 5,962. And that brings her shield to 26,174. Now, mind you, that is before the 15,000, so that's big. We got 6 on her speed. Happy with that. Got her right at the 128 mark. Potency, whatever. And then we put another 2% tenacity on her. So extremely happy with how she came out. I will tell you this about Hilda. Gearing her, out of the 3 characters that I had to gear 11 today, and obviously I have all the resources at my fingertips to make this happen. I have 7.7 million draw coin and over 1 billion gold, so I can do what I want and I can gear her. She is the hardest of the 3. She is, in my opinion, not a very easy gear. So just keep that in mind. We're moving on to the next. Okay, next on the list is Faeila. She is a elf, fighter, mage, and tactician. She doesn't have a lot of clothes on. She has a lot of plants, lettuce, perhaps. She has some leg tattoos, much like Cruel. She is sitting on a plant whose name is Sparky. So looking at her stats, we have physical damage of 1028. We have magic damage of 3172. Crit chance. This is the highest crit chance in the game. Hands down. 74.04%. The number 1 crit damage we had at base before Faeila came in was Faeila. Faeila was at a 41.25. She is 33% higher than Faeila. Crazy. Her health is at 2420, physical armor at 28%, magic armor at 35%. Her shield is at 23,466. Speed is at 144, not the fastest, not the slowest. That 144 speed kind of puts her right in the middle. 54% potency right off the bat. That would put her as the number 3 highest base potency in the game. 35% tenacity, 0 lifesteal. Let's check out her moves. First ability is Flytrap Spit. Deals 180% of magic damage to an enemy. Deals plus 20% of magic damage for each regeneration stack on Faeila. So, magic damage and regeneration. There is an elf who specializes in regeneration, Sinjil. So that could be pretty big as a possible synergy. So let's continue there. We know we got to get her some magical damage. I hope everybody liked that move. Next one up, Poison Vine. Deals 240% of magic damage to an enemy and strikes 2 random enemies. Damage is halved for each new enemy struck. Poisons the main target 2 times for 2 turns. 50% chance to poison additional 2 targets. So, little bit of potency needed, but she does have top 3 highest potency. We also learned that she's going to put poison on the main target. That's really cool. So we have another poison person in the game. And it is a kind of like Mortha's healing damage form. It's a very cool looking move. Check it out now. Told you it was a cool move. Third ability, Neurotoxin, deals 230% of magic damage to all enemies, inflicts damage decrease for 2 turns. Goblin enemies also are slowed for 2 turns. This is big. Which we're all speculating, if Murdoch comes out, goblins, they're not 100%. They still need Thanisa, but they could be run more. So slowing them down is big because they are very, very fast. But again, she just needs magic damage. Check out Neurotoxin. Okay, Woodland Might is her passive ability, and Faeila gains 20% magic damage increase. If Aurelia is one of her allies, Faeila gains a bonus 20% magic damage, and if Sinjil is one of her allies, Faeila also gains a 20% damage increase. So say we're running her with an elf party, I think putting her with Sinjil is a must. He is benefiting her not only on the magic damage by 20%, but is also increasing it because he can stack regeneration on her. Running her and Aurelia would be a little difficult because you'd have to put in Nightiel as a lead. So there's 4. Now do you put in Kelrin or do you put in Sharp? So if I had to pick between the two, I'm definitely going with Sinjil to run with her. So what did we learn from her move kit? We learned she needs magic damage, and a crap ton of it. She has borderline speed, right middle of the pack. So a couple different options. We could go damage and health. We could go damage with critical chance. She already has a very high critical chance, but that might push her pretty damn close to 100%. Or we could go speed, giving her the 10% speed and critical damage, or critical chance, I'm sorry. I definitely think critical chance is the 2 set, because that could possibly push her very, very close to 100% critical chance. And under the Nightiel Lee, that is more healing for her. I think I'm going to forego the little bit of the speed to put the damage on her. So we're going to go damage, critical chance, secondaries of health, speed, more damage, and survivability. What do you think? I think it's a pretty good idea. I'll be back. Okay, we are back. I went with the damage, critical chance. Going around, Northern Rune, damage, critical chance, speed, armor, armor. I went in the Northeastern, speed, damage, shield, armor, damage. Southeastern, armor, speed, armor, health, damage. Southern, I have damage, damage, armor, potency, and armor. In the Southwestern, I have health. I went over that, then shield, because if she's under a Nightiel lead, she heals herself based on her own health, I believe. I think that's it. Speed, armor, tenacity, and damage. In the Northwestern rune, I put damage, shield, armor, shield, and health for a little survivability. So let's see what that did to her stats. So her stats, we got her physical damage up 313, bringing it to 1341. We got her magic damage up by 810, bringing it to 3982. Her critical chance, we put on an extra 10%, bringing it to 84.1%. Now, if I gave up the damage on the Southern rune and just put straight critical chance, we'd be over 90%. Her health, we gave her an extra 681, bringing it to 21,101. Physical armor, we put on 4.5%. Magic armor, we put on 5.7%. And shield, we added 661, bringing it to 24,127. We put on 31 speed, bringing her to 175. I'm happy with that. Her potency up 1% and her tenacity up 1%. Overall, very happy with what we did. Moving on to the next one. So, our third and final new character is Yogi. His character design is so cool. If you just watch for a little bit, he changes colors like a chameleon does. Super cool. He has a little like lightning bug above his staff. He's sitting on his tail. He's kind of got like the namaste pose. See, now he's purple. Just really love this. His eyes move around like chameleons do. My daughter is a huge fan of animals, so I love the fact that his eyes kind of move like a chameleon's. He's switching the colors. Very cool. He is my favorite looking new character. Love him. But let's look at his stats. Physical damage is at 991. He is a mage though, so his magic damage is at 2881. Critical chance is extremely low at 15.78. His health is at 2680. Physical armor at 31.24. His magic armor at 35.42. Shield at 22.451. Speed is at 128, bottom tier. Potency at 22%, tenacity at 27%. Let's check out his moves. First ability is called Sand Strike. It deals 240% of magic damage to an enemy, 50% chance to inflict slow for 2 turns against poisoned enemies, and 30% chance to stun them for 1 turn. Very low potency character, so potency could be an option here. Obviously magical damage. The poison, there is a pride who relies on poison also. Vorian the Trickster. Keep that in mind. Check out Sand Strike. Second ability, Sandstorm, deals 220% of magic damage to the target and 110% of magic damage to all other enemies. Inflicts blindness for 2 turns on the main target. Very cool move. AoE ability, you're doing massive damage to the first one, blinding them, but you're hitting everybody else for still over 100%. I'll take it. Third ability is Sands of Time. Restores 2 energy to a random ability and a 50% turn gauge to a target ally. I like this move for 2 reasons. You're restoring your cooldown of 2 to a random ability, and then this is the first move where you get to pick who you want. Normally it's 50% to a random ally, and you don't know who's going to get it. But in his case, we get to choose who we want. So that is really, really cool. Like that a lot. I believe I put it on Revel. So let me know what you think of that move. Passive ability, Cold Blood. Yogi gains 30% potency. If Vorian the Trickster is in the battle as well, they both gain the bonus of 30% potency. This is awesome. He had a 15% potency. So now has a 45% chance potency. Vorian the Trickster has a 0 potency. So if he is put with Yogi, he is up to 30 at least. Very, very good synergy. And I think it's funny because they're both lizards. So I think that's cool that they have that kind of synergy there. So what did we learn from Yogi's move kit? He has synergy with Vorian the Trickster. He's giving himself potency to help out his horrendous potency that he already had. He is very heavily reliant on potency. He is also reliant on damage. So obviously putting the 4 damage on, and then I think putting a potency set on him, giving him the extra 15% potency is probably the way to go. So I'm going to rune him, and I will be back. Okay, we have a full rune amulet. We have the Northern Rune with damage primary, damage, speed, armor, and health. I did forget to mention we want to put speed on this guy because he does have a very low base speed, and the fact that he can give people turn meter, and things like that, we want to make sure we're putting speed on him. So moving on to the northeastern rune, I went speed, damage, shield, potency, and health. I went armor, health, potency, health, and damage. We have damage, shield, critical chance, health, and speed. We have health, speed, health, armor, and shield. And then we have potency, health, speed, health, and armor. So let's see what it did to his overall stats. Here we go. We increased his physical damage by 240, but his magical damage by 626, bringing it to 3507. Critical chance is still abysmal, but reading his move kit, I don't really care about that too much. His health we got up by 1765, bringing it to 22445. His physical armor we brought up 1.7%, and his magic armor up 2%. We brought up his shield by 1100, bringing it to 23645. We brought up his speed to 31, giving him 159, so that's respectable now. His potency we brought up by 35%, and then he's giving himself another 30%, so his potency is going to be at an 87.77. Tenacity we didn't touch, and lifesteal we didn't touch. We are done with Winter Days for Noobs. The patch will be out for everybody shortly. We're going to jump into these characters. We are going to figure out what they're really like. So that's kind of cool. I think the devs did a great job with the character work, combining them into kit, using their kits to not make them faction reliant. The only one I could really see that is a faction reliant kit is Faeila. She would require a majority of the party to be elves. Hilda does not at all. I mean, she has synergy with a human. And then the Pride faction, anybody who could put on a poison, you essentially could put him Yogi in there. And the fact that he could give anybody of his choosing 50% turn meter means he could be a very very good plug and play character. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite character is, what you thought of the artwork, what you thought of their move kits. Again, if you haven't subscribed, give me a subscribe. Check out the videos. Again, check out Dragonlaw Gaming's channel and his videos. Subscribe to that man. Got some really good stuff. That's what I got for everybody out there in YouTube land. Be safe. I'm out.